This may not be our best look after all these hot miles. So, our motto is hike, camp, boldly go. And today we are going. We went on a bike ride, and we're actually in the middle of a bike ride. From Goshen, Indiana to
Middlebury,
Indiana. Sorry, Middlebury.
Middle.
You really had a nice little town and a great little ice cream shop at the 10-mile mark where we turned around.
That's good.
Isn't that mine?
Oh, was this yours? I'm sorry. I was at the counter to pick it up and you were not. Fine, you can have it.
Thank you.
Here's Mama for the cheesecake.
Great, thank you. This looks good too.
It was a 10-mile bike ride here, so you got another 10 miles to ride back, right? I was going to ask if it was worth a 10-mile bike ride.
Ice cream makes it worth it.
I was going to ask if it was worth a 10-mile bike ride, but it's actually a 20-mile bike ride.
Well then, maybe we'll have more ice cream.
Yes, Dips on the Vine was a great place to turn around, and I'm pretty sure they know that's why it's theirs, because it is at the 10-mile mark if you start in Goshen. So there are a number of different places, which we should probably kind of backtrack and say where we are and what we're doing here.
Yeah, we actually were in the area because we went to the RVMH Hall of Fame and Museum yesterday in Elkhart, and then drove down here. It was maybe 10 or 11 miles to Goshen to Abshire Park, which is a trailhead for the Pumpkinvine Trail.
The Pumpkinvine Trail is an old rail system that is no longer in use, and many years ago they decided, once it was abandoned, to turn it into a trail system, and it is really nice. It is partially paved, partially crushed gravel, but it's all pretty flat. Or packed, I mean. So it's a really easy trail, whether you're running, biking, walking your dog, just kind of being out for a stroll. And there is a couple of hills, but otherwise it's pretty flat.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's some minor elevation changes throughout, and there's a couple of good-sized hills, I suppose, but nothing that you couldn't do pretty easily. Yeah, we have seen everybody out here doing all sorts of everything. We've seen all kinds of bikes, road bikes, recumbent bikes, fat tire bikes. We've seen dogs with people. We've seen everything from Chihuahuas to Great Danes. Yeah. Apparently, there's variety. You're going to find it here on this trail. But it has been a really nice ride. The variety also continues through what you see in terms of the scenery. We're by some farms right now. There's cornfields, there's soybean fields. We rode through some woods for a while.
Yeah. You're in the heart of Amish country, so you're going to see a lot of big Amish farms, a lot of horses and cows and stuff along the way as well. Be careful and mindful of the Amish buggies, just because, they're traversing the area as well. But yeah, this has been a really nice trail.
Yeah, in terms of watching for the buggies, I should note, no horses are allowed on this trail, but you do cross county roads a number of times. And there's actually one section where you have to jog from one part of the Pumpkinvine Trail to another, and you're on a couple different county roads for
a mile and a half or so.
Is that about? Yeah, it's not very far, but it's relatively quiet county roads. But, we rode past a few Amish buggies, so you have to be careful of those and watch for cars, of course. But all in all, I've really enjoyed this trail out here.
I agree. And on the way, there are a number of benches, picnic tables, places to stop. So depending on how far you're going, you can pull off, grab a snack, get some water. Another really cool thing along the way, closer to the Middlebury end of the trail system, is Krider Gardens. And the history of that is really kind of interesting. The Krider family owned a big nursery here that they started in like the 1930s, and it ran through the 1980s. And for the 1934 World's Fair in Chicago, they designed this huge garden system to show off their nursery and to build up their business. And when the fair was all over, they brought parts of that the gardens, including the design, the layout, some of the buildings, the water well. They brought it back to this area here in Indiana. They set it back up, and now it is just a little free garden by the side of the road that you can walk through, and it's really pretty.
It's good size. It's just kind of a nice, peaceful place to wander around. Some really beautiful flowers going on in there. So at first it seemed really random. I didn't know what was going on, but after we learned the history of it, it's actually pretty cool.
Unfortunately, the nursery itself is no longer in existence. It went out in like the 1990s, but they've kept up the gardens, and so it's just a really nice spot. We saw a number of people with picnic lunches in there and just strolling around. So make sure if you're riding or walking by that you take a moment to get off the trail and go see it.
We started our ride today in Goshen at Abshire Park, which is also a nice little park. And one of the things that people recommend starting there for is it's got one of the larger parking lots. I've noticed riding along that there are different trailheads with some parking, but that one seems to have the largest parking lot. And when you come out of there, if you go the direction we went, you can go to Middlebury, and then I think it goes all the way to Shipshewana.
Yep.
So it's a good long ride if you want to do that. And the other direction, you can get all the way to Elkhart on trails. I don't know if Pumpkinvine goes all that way, but you do connect to something.
Yeah, you end up riding through the city of Goshen, so it's some sidewalk trails, like some more bike path trails, and as well as there's some other connecting trails in the area as well. But yes, you can essentially get from Elkhart to Shipshewana by some kind of bike or walking trail system.
But you don't have to ride that far. Just come out and check it out for a short ride, or if you're really into taking a day and doing a nice long ride, this would be a great place. I'd like to come back and try this again at different times of the year too, and see what it's like. It's I don't know what 90 degrees today. So why do we always do these things when it's 90 degrees out? That's just the way timing works. But get out here if you can. Get out somewhere. Do what you can outside and enjoy it. Keep on trekking.
And we'll see you out there.